Okay, I try to improve the lighting so we can get into the vertex. So let's talk about the vertex and all the different houses. Reminder, they are only on the right side of the chart, so it's going to be the 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th house, and on very rare cases like mine, the 4th or the 9th house. So starting with the 5th house, this is the house of children, sexuality, love, joy. Your inner child is the house of your self-expression, of your heart, the things that make you happy. So your vertex honestly is going to be activated by how much your capacity for joy is. Keep in mind, other planets being connected are going to affect this, but the things that are going to be faded in your life are going to come through the things that make you happy. So you being in places that fuel your soul, around people that make you happy, that is when coincidences or fate is going to step in. A big thing here is also children. So sometimes if you're a parent, or if you're not yet, when you have your first kid, you're going to fall in love with them. Your children are going to be very, very important people in your life. You could also meet fated people through school events or children activities or something like that. So your kids are very connected to you. Also, partners that you might be dating, because this is also the house of like flings and dating. So you might date people that literally change your life, that transform the way that you look at life, that give you a different perspective. And I want you to think of vertex as like life-changing people and events. This is the way that you're going to come into them. Okay, if you have your vertex in the 6th house, this is the house of like your routines, your daily work, your day-to-day, like the mundane type of things, also your health. So I want you to think about meeting people in those fields. So maybe working out at the gym that you go to, maybe in your daily routine, you're just going to run into people that are literally going to shift the trajectory of your life. It's also the house of service. So I will say, when you fall in love and you have a love interest, you tend to be a person that's going to be needing to be of service to your partner. And I don't mean like you cater to them, you just genuinely just have a lot to give. You're a very service oriented person. Another thing that lives in this house is nieces and nephews. So your nieces and nephews might be someone that you're really close to, almost like a mentor dynamic, or like they feel like they should be your kid. You're gonna feel a very deep connection to your nieces and nephews. Also, pets live in this house, so you might have really big moments with pets that might, again, I know it sounds cliche, but we're talking about fate. Pets that come into your life and literally change it, or that make you feel seen and understood. So a lot of lessons for you and moments like that will come through pets, nieces and nephews in your day-to-day health. So think about like dating doctors or nurses or people that are in this healthcare, hospice, that type of thing. But I will say deep connections, nieces, nephews, service field or health, and also pets. Keep that in mind. Now, if your vertex is in the 7th house, let's start with the obvious. You are designed for partnership. If you find yourself single, there's going to be a deep yearning or a longing in your heart to be with somebody. I will say, depending on what planets are aspecting your vertex, whether, conjunction, opposition, sextiles, that's another topic. Partnership is just going to be very important to you. And I want you to think of the 7th house like close partnerships. We're talking marriage, business partners, people that you're genuinely connected to. So the people that you date, the people that you are in deep relationship with, your business partners, they're going to change your life. You might also come into money because of these people. Another thing that lives here is like legal stuff. So contracts or married friends introducing you to people, or if you're in any place like a courthouse or something like that, those are going to be places that you're going to have fate kind of step in, and it's going to come through contracts, agreements, married people, marriage in general, partners, and anything that comes along through that field. But it's honestly deeper than that, because Libra doesn't only rule relationships, it also rules balance. So anywhere that you go to restore balance to yourself, maybe you go to a sauna, maybe you go get massages, maybe you go, I don't know, for walks. Those are the places where you're going to run into fate, events, peoples, and situations. If you have your vertex in the 8th house, y'all know this house is lovely. It's all about the occult, taboo, sex, death, money. So sexual partners, maybe I should find another word. Let's call it pumpkin. Anytime that you engage in pumpkin, you are going to find that you have deep bonds, and this is a very important part of who you are and your partners. Now, every time that you pumpkin somebody, the connections are deep, and you're going to find that a lot of those people that you engaged with in pumpkin activities, that they tend to bring really big breakthroughs and changes into your life. Death also lives here, so not to be dark, but when you're grieving, when you're in grief, when you're in darkness, when places like hospice, places like hospitals, these are places where you might also see fate intervene. You may or may not have friends that have, said goodbye to their lives by choice. Or again, it's dark, but that's a way that people also come into your life, is through grief. I will say any pumpkin-like experiences that you experiment with could also open different connections for you. I'm trying to be very selective how I speak because I know TikTok's going to look into this. Another thing that lives here would be like taxes, or you getting money, like a big sum of money through someone that you're dating, someone that you're in partnership with in some way. Getting money from someone else is huge. That's a big fated event for people who have Vertex in the 8th house. Money just seems to find you through other people. Good or bad, because again, Vertex could be good or bad. I would say some of the darker themes when it doesn't go well is through pumpkin related activities, like ending up with a partner who has a shady past, like maybe they were a stripper in a past life, or like earlier before they met you, or someone coming in and giving you some kind of illness. We're going to call it pumpkin related illness. That could also happen. So if you have Vertex in the 8th house, you want to be really cautious with who you engage with in pumpkinness, because it could be good or bad, and that's determined on the transit, your chart, and everything else. But just be mindful, the 8th house is really intense because these are big themes. When they're good, they're fantastic. When they're bad, they kind of suck. Okay, now for the really rare ones, the 4th house and the 9th house are very rare. If you have it in those houses like me, please let me know. Let me know in the comments, because first of all, it's really cool. And second of all, child, this sucks, right? So the 4th house is all about your roots, your family, your mother, your home life. So there's a couple things here. We're talking about fate and situations kind of outside of your control that live here. So when I talked about my Vertex, I talked about like losing my grandmother. That is a maternal figure in my home life, right? I talked about my dad having a heart attack in my car. That we're talking about a father home figure falling apart, a lot of moving, a lot of home is important. There's going to be a lot of transitions around home, a lot of things that happen depending on where you're living. There is a very karmic connection to mother. I won't share too much, but good or bad, right? So mom might bring really good people into your life, or mom might be the one that opens the door to a very toxic karmic connection in your life. Hell, she might be it. But like figuring out where you come from, your roots, your ancestry, like that's very important to you. Whoops. I don't know, I think I dropped it. But in the process of doing that is going to activate fate, because the more that you find out where you come from, who you are, your roots, the more that fate kind of steps in to guide you to the next step. I will say for people who have Vertex here, and I can relate to this, there's a very deep desire to like get lost in partnership. The 8th house has it through pumpkin activities. The 4th house, it's more like an all-consuming need to have a partner, or to have a home, or to have somebody. Like it's a very deep yearning and desire for partnerships. So be mindful not to get all consumed here. Now for the 9th house, this is the house of like spirituality and travel and higher learning, psychology, religion. So all of those fields might bring fate, but also, how do I say it? Like you might end up moving a lot or meeting foreigners. You're for sure 4th or 9th house Vertex gonna end up dating a foreigner, marrying a foreigner, attracting people that are not from your home or that are from a different version of home. So 4th and 9th house, honey, moving is part of the process. But for the 9th house Vertex is more like fated relationships that come through travel, fated relationships that come through learning and education, through deep religious spiritual experiences. Do with that what you may. It's almost like when you're in the pursuit of learning and growing and expanding and traveling and Sagittarius type things, that's where fate kind of steps in and opens the door for you. And to give you some context, I have a friend that is a foreign person. That sounds horrible. He just lives in another country. And I have a 4th house Vertex. He has a 9th house Vertex, and we should have never met, but we did. And we have literally changed the trajectory of our lives. But I want you to think of 9th house Vertex as like, as you're in the process of becoming your higher self, your best self, that's when fate's gonna step in. I think I might run out of time, but hopefully this is all making sense. Now we can go deeper into what sign your Vertex is in, and that will really blow your mind. And if we get into the planets and how they interact, y'all, I have been deep in this rabbit hole. This Vertex, mind-blowing stuff. Like, I'm gonna need you to look at your chart and like let's get into it.